Good evening. So my name is Shana Bryant, and I am the founder and CEO of Shana Bryant Consulting. And so my rebranding literally just dropped yesterday, and so I should know exactly like my pitch. And so my pitch is I organize chaos through trainings, curated events, and one other thing, right? But I'm working on it. So basically event planning. And so a little bit about my story is I'm born and raised in Boston, a little bit of Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan. Been in the Grove Hall area for the last 15 years. And much of my story is defined because I have a 24-year-old son, which means that I was a parent at 16. So the story kind of goes, I think much of my 20s, I was raising my son. I was being a 24/7 parent. And part of that meant he did lots of extracurricular activities. And so I realized very quickly that the easiest way to get on the sideline was to become the team mom, right? And so when he was doing Pop Warner football, I became the team mom. And I think what frustrated me to no end was that we never knew who was bringing the oranges every week. Like we literally started practice every day, every weekday in August, and the games went until, if we made it to the Super Bowl, which one year we did, and we went to Disney, to February. And somehow we could not logistically figure out how to tell all of these parents where to be at what time, what field, what equipment they're gonna wear, what jersey, all of this good stuff, right? And so, again, I became team mom, and the best part of it was being able to be on the sidelines so I could be the crazy mother screaming, everybody hit somebody, and run up and down the field with my son. If he got a hit, if he stopped the ball, you know, when we made a touchdown, we all met down at the end, right? So I was that team mom, I was that mom. And fast forward, when I hit my 30s, something happened and I realized that I was defining myself as his mother. And he was now 14 and actually moved to Cambridge to go to Wrench and Latin and live with my dad. So I no longer was parenting 24/7. I had been at a job in healthcare for over a decade now, and it became very clear that I needed to finish my degrees. And part of finishing my degrees was, it took me 10 years to finish my associates at RCC, Roxbury Community College. But within that shift, somewhere between 2008, he went to Cambridge, and I became very clear on this goal. I needed to finish these degrees. From RCC, I went to UMass Boston. Obama was running, so I became involved in politics and started to do these leadership programs. And then ended up getting my degree, switching from healthcare careers. I thought I was gonna be a nurse to getting a political science degree. I realized that just fit my personality of I don't have a filter, I always have an opinion. This just made sense. And so then from there, there was some kind of life things that happened where one, there was like this buzz of, I had lots of people that I knew were becoming entrepreneurs. And I knew that over the kind of my 20s, my late 20s and early 30s, when I started to be part of these leadership programs, it also meant I was like the serial volunteer, right? Planning other people's events, which is what it seemed like I was always doing somehow, some way. So galas, youth competitions, took some young people to Vegas and Atlanta and so forth. And so just realized, like, I think I have this thing. And then in 2015, I had some injuries where I was in a boot for over a year between my two ankles, both feet, in physical therapy for almost 2 years. And so when that second injury happened, which was I tore my Achilles, and so it literally put me on my ass, right? Like I could do nothing. I had this hard, sobby cry and was like, dear God, why now? Had just finished my degree, was temping, didn't have health care, and was like, why is this happening? Well, this was happening because my physical therapist from the first injury took me on for 6 months for free to make sure that I recovered from my Achilles, and waited until I got that job, and then I was able to get good health care, and I stayed on with him for another year to make sure that I could walk properly. So, but within that moment, I realized that like, I can't keep volunteering for people. I think I do this thing well enough that maybe I can start to get paid for it, right? And that thing was event planning. Initially, I actually thought I was going to be a virtual assistant because I had jobs where I managed up administrators and so forth, and so I was telling, in particular, white men what to do and how to organize appropriately, and it was working. And so this means that if I can tell them what to do and make them look good, I can do it for anybody. And I can get paid well for it. So fast forward, left healthcare, went into a full-time position at a nonprofit, at a national nonprofit. This helped me feel like my give back was I was working for a mission-based and I was doing the give back. I didn't have to do as much volunteering. I didn't feel bad for like asking for something to get paid now. And what happened was last year in August, we went from a July meeting that we were recovering from a deficit, $1 million deficit, all is well, literally monthly meetings, to in August, we're doing layoffs. And in that moment, I was like, oh, well, I'm safe. The department I'm working for, I've only been here less than a year. There's no way in hell that like our department is gonna get hit. So that's just terrible for those people, right? I wonder who they are. And then one day, maybe a week after they announced this, I get an email from HR scheduling to meet with me and the CEO. And the VP of programming, my cube is here, her office is at the end of the hall. So I waited patiently till about 6 o'clock when I knew she would finish the day, and happily walked into her office and was like, so what's happening? Why am I meeting with the CEO and head of HR next Tuesday? And this was on a Friday, and she was like, all right, I'm gonna be honest. This is what's happening. You're being laid off. We're giving everybody 4 months notice, so it's not till November. I'm really sorry. We know you do quality work. It's not you, it's us. And I was like, well, God damn it, you're right, it's y'all, right? It ain't me, right? So I do quality work. Y'all brought me here to actually do event planning, which was like a third of my job for a national directors convention. Also within that conversation, she said to me, but we got you because we're gonna hire you as our subcontractor to plan that conference next May. All right, I'll hear it when I believe it, right? Like, sounds good, you talk a good game. And so had the meeting with the CEO, and I don't know how, but I was about the calmest that I could possibly be when somebody's telling you they're letting you go. And I think at one point I was like, I'm really okay. I'm about to go build this business. You should probably check on those folks that have been here 20 years, and they're devastated, not me, right? So fast forward to November, the end of November, I secured a contract with that employer, and then I secured another contract to plan an event in June of 20, and was able to live. Right now I can live for 6 months and I can figure out the operations of being a solo entrepreneur. The last 6 months have been scary as hell at times, but very rewarding. I realized that my commitment is my son, and so it's very easy to just kind of keep going, right? What I will leave you with is, I don't remember his name, but something that he says, celebrate those small wins. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, I celebrate everything. And so like today's win is that I'm doing an event in November and I got a 10,000 sponsorship. So email telling me they're gonna sponsor this event, which means I get to like go big and extra and put some money in my pocket, right? And so another thing I will say is you need to have a tribe, a circle. It doesn't have to be the business team or the advisors, but you need to be able to have people to support you. I cry, y'all. But to support you, to remind you like you're doing okay, and then just to be there, right? To listen. Like, I'm not going crazy. Literally once a week, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I don't know, but I done invested all this money, so I got to keep it moving. And I'm not going back to build somebody else's dream, which is okay, because they are investing in you. I got these big goals, and so yeah, I'm not turning back now. And I do know if I have to turn back, this year of experience has just like tripled my value. So whoever hires me, if it has to be or come to that, you're gonna pay me 6 figures plus because of what I've learned as a full-time entrepreneur.